Hi folks, this is James from Fairy Tales, Myths and Legends, and this time we're looking at the Alux from Mayan folklore. I hope you enjoy this one. The Alux, what a marvellously peculiar concoction of Mayan folklore. These tiny tricksters, steeped in myth and mischief, flit through the annals of Guatemalan and Yucatecan lore like sprightly shadows at twilight. Their stories persist even now, whispered in rural hamlets where the jungle murmurs secrets and the night is thick with possibility. Known variously as the Chineke or Chinek, or if one prefers the lyrical cadence of Mayan, the Aluxes, these beings are diminutive in stature, standing a mere foot or three tall. But do not let their size deceive you, their capacity for both malice and marvel looms large. Clad in traditional Maya garb, they seem to blur the lines between the human and the ethereal. Most of the time they remain unseen, the better to weave their mischief in secret. Yet when it suits them, or when they wish to make an impression, they appear, often to startle and scare, occasionally to gather in their mysterious congregations. The question of their nature is a riddle. Are they supernatural sprites, bound by the old rhythms of earth and sky? Or are they, as some romantics suggest, a secretive race of tiny people, their existence a tantalising whisper of the extraordinary? They are deeply tied to nature, haunting caves, streams and forests, where they blend seamlessly with the untamed landscape. A tropical spirit runs through their veins, and a curious detail, some are said to travel with a small dog. Their origins, unsurprisingly, are cloaked in myth. Priests, so the story goes, once shaped them from virgin clay found in caves untouched by the presence of women. These clay forms were buried in the soil, and after some mystical gestation, the Alux emerged to serve as guardians of the land. For 7 years, they would summon rain, shoo away pests, and protect the fields from thieves with whistles sharp enough to make one's hair stand on end. But beware, when their tenure ended, the farmer had to entomb them in their tiny houses, lest their innate mischief take a darker turn. The tales of the Aluxes' mischief are as numerous as they are unnerving. In the 19th century, islanders of the Mujeres and Cozumel spoke of little figures who disrupted sleep by shaking hammocks or hammering on the beds, a nocturnal nuisance of the highest order. And woe betide anyone foolish enough to utter their name aloud. This reckless act, it's said, summons them from their cosy haunts. Not a scenario one would wish to entertain unless you have a penchant for being pelted with stones or plagued with untraceable illnesses. Indeed, many farmers swear by the Aluxes' dual nature. Offer them respect, perhaps a morsel of food or a draught of liquor, and they will bless your crops and shield your family. Displease them, and chaos ensues. Overturned furniture, scattered belongings, and mysterious ailments. The Yucatan Times recounted a tale of a rancher who, in a drunken stupor, forgot his nightly offerings and was promptly stoned into fleeing his own home. And yet, they are not wholly malevolent. Like their Celtic cousins, the leprechauns, they balance trickery with a streak of altruism. An Alux might protect your cornfield for 7 years, but only if you uphold your end of the bargain. One farmer, upon refusing an Alux's request for offerings, suffered an onslaught of illness. Another sought advice on how to kill the creature and was told to don a shirt of virgin cloth and load his rifle with salt-infused bullets. He succeeded in his grim task, but the field where the Alux fell bore no fruit thereafter, a barren, silent testimony to the perils of crossing these capricious beings. And as for anecdotes, I'll take the woodcutters of British Honduras circa 1825 who encountered a wild-eyed 3-foot woman. She stayed with them for 10 days only to vanish when leading them to her people. Or the indigenous native who showed archaeologist Alice Dixon Le Plongeon a clay figure he swore was an enchanted dwarf reading a book. She took it, grew fearful and returned it, only to find the spot untraceable the next day. In more modern times, an anthropologist named Dan Gannon claimed to glimpse a 2-foot tall humanoid flitting through his car's headlights in the rainforests of the Yucatan. Meanwhile, in 2010, Martin Segura Soberanes' tourist jaunt took a bizarre turn when his American companion encountered 2 tiny figures who hurled stones at him with uncanny precision. Then there is the pièce de résistance, the photograph shared in 2023 by none other than the Mexican president. The image, taken by an engineer on a tourist train project, depicts a ghostly, glowing-eyed figure perched in a tree. It appears to be an Alux the president mused, proving that even in this modern age, the allure of the mystical is alive and well. Though it's worth pointing out that further clarification suggested the image had been taken some years before. The Aluxes' origins, like the creatures themselves, are elusive. Some suggest that the Mayan myths may have mingled with European folklore, carried across oceans by Spanish sailors or Irish pirates. Others hold that the Alux are as Mayan as the temples of Chichen Itza. Their diminutive forms are a reflection of ancient cosmologies and ancestral spirits. And so the Alux endure, their legend evolving with each retelling, whether guardian spirits, mischievous sprites, or echoing a forgotten race. They remain an indelible part of Mexicans' cultural fabric. Offer them respect, perhaps a morsel of food or a cigarette, and they may protect your home, your crops, or your travels. But ignore their warnings and you may find yourself on the receiving end of their ire, an overturned hammock, a volley of stones, or worse. For in their small, shadowy forms lies a truth we so often forget, that the world, for all its order and logic, is still a place of wonder, and that even the tiniest of beings can hold the power to astonish or to terrify. Have you seen an Alux? Have we missed something important? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, then please do subscribe, as it helps us fund the channel. This has been James from Fairy Tales, Myths and Legends. We hope to see you again soon.